This is Starry Ari's ASMR. I am Ari, and today I wanted to do a very lo-fi, casual, chit-chat, ramble type of video. I was looking back through some of my ASMR playlists with my favorite videos, and I noticed that a lot of them had these just very casual kind of chit-chat, not really a whole lot going on. And I realized that if I enjoy those, maybe other people do as well. So the difference, because you do not get to see my face chit-chatting at you, I did want to do something on the screen, and so I have this notebook, and I thought an easy thing that I could ramble about is a general to-do list. I've mentioned before on my channel that I am not somebody that regularly talks to myself. I feel like I have gotten better at listening to my inner monologue and being able to speak it in these videos, but I'm still a work in progress. So I wanted to have some sort of guide for what I could ramble on about. So I want to write myself a to-do list, not for any particular day. These aren't all things that I, want to get done all today or all this weekend or, by any specific time. Just kind of things that I generally am thinking about, things that are floating in my head, and I would feel better if I just had a physical to-do list. So I have this very cute little notebook, and it's like a tan and brown, almost like a marble pattern somewhat, with a white background, and it has this little strap. I have not used this journal yet. It is completely empty, so I figured we would just open it up and get started. I do have a caveat. I know my intros are always so long and rambly anyways. Like, do I really need a ramble dedicated video? I have some laundry going on in the background, so this might be like an extra lo-fi video. I'll see how much I can edit out, but I can only do so much. So here is the journal, and this front page kind of wants to just naturally fold over, so maybe I'll just start here, and maybe another time I can do a little doodle or something for this first page. I'm going to grab a pen, and just up here at the top, I'm going to write to do. I'm not somebody that regularly journals either, so this will not be an aesthetic journaling video. So the first thing that I keep thinking about doing, and I keep thinking, oh, I need to do that, and I just keep putting it off, is I need to take, oh no, this pen is dying. Okay, I think I need a different pen. Okay, I think I have a better pen now. Let's try it. There we go. So let me just fill in these spots. So I need to take the crossbars candles freaking out off my car. So I have an SUV style car and I have crossbars on the top that can be used to attach things to the top of the car. And we have a rooftop carrier box that usually sits up there when we're going on long trips and just helps give us a little extra storage. And we recently took that off and I just kind of left the crossbars on, but I want to take them off so that I can take my car through a car wash and also just not have to worry about having them on, because I don't think we're going to need the storage box again until maybe the spring. So I want to take the crossbars off of my car, and then I think kind of another just general to do, I want to hang entryway items. So we have a coat rack that we got, I think, from like IKEA forever ago, and we had it just kind of hanging up with some like Velcro command strips, and surprisingly that did a really good job keeping that up for a while, but it fell off and I just want to kind of permanently hang it. I don't want to have to worry about it falling, especially like if we're not home and like if Edna was laying in the entryway and it fell, like if she got spooked or something, I don't know. I just don't really want to think about having to deal with that, so I just want to permanently hang that. But we also have a mirror that is just kind of sitting on our entryway table, and it is big enough that I can see all of me when I'm standing in front of the mirror. However, my husband is too tall for it, and I ultimately want to have the mirror hanging instead of just sitting on the table. But when we moved, we just never got around to it, so I want to hang that as well. So that would just be nice to kind of get those things done. And I like looking at our entryway table when the mirror isn't sitting on it, because it gives us a little bit more space. It feels a little less crowded, like it's just nicer walking in. So I want to do that. And something that's kind of at the front of my mind, I have a new puzzle video that I filmed, but I want to edit it together for next week, and I need to edit it, and I have a few moments where I think I'm going to add a voiceover, because they're usually my puzzle videos have pretty long lulls, but this puzzle video in particular, everyone in the neighborhood started doing like construction and yard work and car alarms and like everything possible going off. So I think out of necessity, without having a massive cut in the video, I want to do a little voiceover with potentially like a gratitude practice, or it's kind of in the vein of that puzzle in particular, but just kind of chat about some of the things that I was grateful for or liked about that day. I kind of have some things written down. So I just need to record that voiceover and then edit the video and pop that on there. So I would like to get that done this weekend if I can. And then this is so ridiculous, but I want to start our taxes because I love doing our taxes. I have no idea why. My husband makes fun of me for this in good jest. It's okay. But I love forms and like just checking boxes, and it makes me so excited every year when we get our W-2s and all of our like insurance, tax documentation, and just all of that. I like love collecting it all, and like I have a organized folder each year, and I save it all to that folder, and I'm like so excited to get started. And like each year I'm always like checking the calendar because employers have until January 31st to send out the W-2, so I'm always like checking my email inbox because usually my husband and I just get them electronically, and I'm always excited. My husband will just send me over his W-2s, and I get to just like sit down and do a bunch of paperwork. And luckily, I think we have a very easy tax situation. We don't have any children, we don't have any major assets, we rent, so we don't own a home, we don't have major financial transactions, like we have a pretty basic tax situation. So usually each year our taxes are fairly straightforward. It's just kind of the process, and there are times where I am frustrated by it. I don't mean to just make it sound like I'm having the best time doing our taxes, but it is so satisfying to me getting them done. So I want to start our taxes because we have received our W-2s and our banking, like tax documents and all of that good stuff. So I want to get that started. And we usually use like H&R Block, and usually that's pretty good for us. I did use TurboTax, I think, when I was single before we were married. And I think that I liked them too, but now that we're married, for some reason, since filing jointly, we've always just done H&R Block, so that's who we go with. So I want to start our taxes. It's also quite funny because my husband has joked that I should be like a tax preparer or something for people, and that fills me with dread. Like that idea of dealing with other people's taxes, other people's finances, like that is way too much stress. I'm very happy doing ours once a year and that being that. So I would like to start our taxes, and I think, I have kind of a cleaning thing. Of course, I have like our general like to-dos, like our regular to-dos this weekend and like next week that I'm not necessarily putting on here. So this isn't like everything, but this is all just stuff that's like floating around in my head that I think could be very easily forgotten if I do not write it down. So I want to clean some mud stains out of one of our entryway carpets. Our dog, luckily, is generally pretty clean. Like, she doesn't roll around in the mud or anything, but she is a husky and her paw fur can get quite long, especially in between grooms. And sometimes she tracks in mud after rainy days and whatnot. And usually those stains come up pretty easily if I get to them right away, but there were a few stains that I did not, and they kind of set into the carpet. So I want to try and take some OxyClean and soak those and see if I can get them to come up. If I can't, I'm not too worried. We have very, very cheap rugs and runners in our house. All of our downstairs is either tile or hardwood, and our dog is a little bit older and has a little bit of arthritis and mobility issues, and so she can get a little slippy on hardwood floors. So we like to have carpets kind of throughout for her to kind of walk in between. And when I originally bought them for our last place was also all just hardwoods. I was like, you know what, these are probably gonna get really dirty. I don't want to spend the money to get something that looks really nice and, you know, is going to be more of a pain to clean. So we just got really cheap ones off of Amazon, and they've surprisingly done really well. They've like vacuumed up really nicely. They haven't had any like loose threads or anything, but it's just these mud stains now. They make me sad every time I walk into our entryway. So I want to see if I can clean those out. That would make me a little bit happier. And let's see. I know I have some other things that I would like to do. Oh, this one. I would like to contact the local food bank to see if they need any additional volunteers. I assume that they do. This is kind of something that I've been wanting to volunteer somewhere that I find or think is kind of directly impacting the community in good ways. And in my last job, I worked very closely with a lot of community resources and connecting folks to those resources and doing, lots of like community development and all that good stuff. So I worked closely with lots of good folks that did, work at the food banks or meal distribution sites, and I think that as a way for me to try and feel a little bit more positive in my life, I want to kind of reach out, see if maybe they could use some volunteers, maybe for their commodity box program that delivers food to seniors and folks with disabilities, seeing if, do they need help just even packing the boxes or dropping off the boxes one day a week or something like that. I used to volunteer through college. I volunteered at a meal distribution site and really loved that work, and it really kind of solidified at that time for me when I was still pretty young. It solidified the fact that I wanted to work in the community and with the community, trying to, assist folks and ultimately be there for people. And sometimes that includes just doing grunt work. Sometimes the food just needs to be packed, and I know that a lot of food banks are frequently looking for volunteers, and right now I know a lot of families, especially in my community, are struggling. So I want to reach out to the food bank and just see if they need volunteers at all, see if it works with my schedule, or see if I can, do something, just offer my schedule, see if they have anything within that. So I want to contact the food bank. I'll just send an email this weekend, I think, and hopefully, I obviously won't expect to hear back until the next week, but I at least want to put that together and reach out, see if they have a volunteer coordinator do that. And I think, oh, this is kind of like another household thing. I would like to remove our stick-on snowflakes. So I have these like window clings that are these really cute snowflakes, and I always put them up with our Christmas decor, and then when I take down our Christmas decor, I just leave the snowflakes up through January because I think that they're really cute and like makes me feel happy about winter still. And especially some days when it's like really chilly and, you know, blistering outside and really cold, sometimes it can be hard to like feel excited about the winter. And these are just like a tiny silly little thing that I love looking at our windows and seeing all the cute snowflakes. But we're coming up to the end of January, so I would like to remove those and put them back on their like cling stick-on sheets and put those away for the next year. And that does remind me, I think I'll probably do this next week, but we have a box of donations in one of our storage utility closets that usually I like to just keep a running box down there, and then, you know, as we decide that we want to get rid of something, I just go put it in the box, and then once the box is full, I take it to a local thrift shop, and our box is getting quite full. So I want to, I think, drop off our donations and start a new box. And let's see. I have lots of other, like, you know, little things. Like, I want to prep some veggies and food for the next week, but that's like a regular thing, so I'm not going to put that on this to-do list. Oh, I do want to check our air filter. We have central air in our apartment, and we moved to this apartment at the end of summer, and we have never had central air before, so it's very exciting. But we've noticed some like additional dust, and when we're waking up, our throats are a little more dry, and like just seems like our air just isn't as clean. So I want us to check our air filter. Our maintenance folks left us some extras when we first moved in and showed us, you know, where the air filter is, so that we don't necessarily have to like schedule a maintenance request to have that done. So I would like to check that, see if it needs to be replaced. I have no idea how frequently air filters should be replaced. I would hope that they did it before we moved in, but I don't know if it's a typical thing that you do for central air. So I just want us to do that, and that way, if it does need to be changed, we can change it and hopefully have less dirty air. That sounds terrible. I think this is kind of a pretty good list. It always makes me feel a little bit better. I think putting things down on a list, guessing a lot of these were just kind of things that were like floating around in my head that I just makes me feel better having written down, and then that way I can just kind of open this little book and take a look at it. Okay, yeah, I think that this looks pretty good. I will go ahead and close this up for now. Here we go. Oh, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. I hope that it was at least relaxing, if not entertaining. No, there wasn't really a whole lot going on, but maybe this also motivated you to create your own little to-do list. I don't know. But I appreciate you watching and sticking around. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.